Hey guys, welcome back to another Aftermath video. Today we are covering all the weapons inside of the game right now. If you could leave a like or subscribe, it would help out the channel a lot. Anyways, before we get into it, I'd like to explain the stats first. You'll see a dummy on the screen with a few different numbers on the body parts. Each body part has a different damage multiplier. The head is up top, to the sides are the arms, below the head is the torso, below that is the gut, then below the gut are the legs. The range statistic is a weapon rating from 1 to 5 of the ranged capabilities of the weapon. RPM is rounds per minute, and velocity is how fast the bullet leaves the barrel. Lastly, all these stats are against players and not against zombies. Zombies have different damage multipliers. For instance, you can whack a zombie in the head with the flashlight and kill it in one try. However, you can't do that against a player. Also, just a disclaimer, all weapons have damage drop-off. So that's where the range category comes in for statistics. There's a couple different stats that I have to look at, and I interpret it on a scale of 1 to 5. And I give the weapon a rating on how good it is in terms of damage drop-off and muzzle velocity. Also, all of these stats are against unarmored players. And with damage drop-off, these stats go down the further you are away from them. With that out of the way, let's get into it. First up, we have the fists. The fists have a base damage of 15 and an RPM of 100. Next, we have the flashlight. The flashlight has a base damage of 20 and an RPM of 66. The crowbar has a base damage of 23 and an RPM of 66. The shovel has a base damage of 25 and an RPM of 66. The machete has a base damage of 16 and an RPM of 66. The cleaver has a base damage of 16 and an RPM of 66. The axe has a base damage of 35 and an RPM of 50. The axe can also cut down trees inside of the game. They give you logs and sticks as well as sap. There is no functionality to logs in the game yet. Lastly, for the melee weapons, we have the combat knife. The knife has a base damage of 18 and an RPM of 100, making it slightly better than the fists. We have a little special category for the bow and arrow. The bow has a base damage of 45, as well as a velocity of 380. Headed over to the pistols, we're starting out with the M1911. The M1911 is chambered in 45 ACP, does 20 damage to the gut, 24 to the torso, 18 to the arms, 16 to the legs, and 40 to the head. It's good from short distances, has an RPM of 400, a velocity of 1500, and it can be found in civilian and police locations. The M9 is chambered in 9mm. It can be found in civilian, police, and military locations. It has a gut damage of 18, does 21 to the torso, 16 to the arms, 14 to the legs, and 36 to the head. It is good from short distances. It has an RPM of 500 and a velocity of 1500. Next, we have the P226. The P226 has the same damage as the M9. It is good from short distances. It shoots slightly faster than the M9 at 525 rounds per minute and has a velocity of 1500 studs per second. Next, we have the FNX. The FNX is chambered in 45 ACP and can be found in military and police locations around the map. It has a gut damage of 22, does 26 to the torso, 19 to the arms, 17 to the legs, and it does 44 to the head. Next, we have the 44 Magnum. The 44 Magnum is chambered in 44 Magnum. It does 32 damage to the gut, 38 damage to the torso, 28 to the arms, 128 to the head, meaning it can one-tap people, and it has a leg damage of 25. The Magnum is good from short to medium distances. It has an RPM of 150 and a velocity of 1500 studs per second. Lastly, in the pistol category, we have the Deagle. The Deagle has a base damage of 32, does 38 to the torso, 28 to the arms, 25 to the legs, and 121 to the head. It's good from short to medium distances, has an RPM of 250, and a velocity of 1500. Now, for the shotguns, we're starting out with the MP133. The shotguns are chambered in 12 gauge, so that means all of the damage that you'll see on screen is multiplied by however many pellets hit that body part for a maximum of 12. So for instance, if I hit 10 of my 12 pellets in the arm, I would do 100 damage to the player. So, starting out with the MP33, does a pellet damage of 11 to the gut, 13 to the torso, 10 to the arms, and 8.8 to the legs, 19 to the head. It's good from short distances, has an RPM of 60, so 1 shot per second, and it has a muzzle velocity of 1000 studs per second. Next, we have the Remington 1894. This is also chambered in 12 gauge, can be found in civilian loot spots around the map. Has the same damage as the MP133, does 11 damage to the gut, 13 to the torso, 10 to the arms, 8.8 to the legs, and 19 to the head. It's good from short distances, has an RPM of 200, but it can only hold 2 shots before you have to reload, and it has a muzzle velocity of 1000. The Mossberg 500 is chambered in 12 gauge. It can be found in police and military locations around the map. Again, it has a gut damage of 11, 13 to the torso, 10 to the arms, 8.8 to the legs, 19 to the head. It's good from short distances, has an RPM of 100, and a muzzle velocity of 1000. Rounding up the shotgun category is the semi-automatic SPAS 12. SPAS 12 does 7 damage to the gut, 8.4 to the torso, 6 to the arms, 5 to the legs, and 12 to the head. It's good from short distances, has an RPM of 200, and a velocity of 1100. Now for the SMGs. The MP5 does 18 damage to the gut, 21 to the torso, 16 to the arms, 14 to the legs, and 54 to the head. The MP5 is good from short to medium distances, has an RPM of 800, and a velocity of 1500. The Uzi has the same damage as the MP5, but has a higher RPM, with an RPM of 950, and a slower muzzle velocity of 1400. The Uzi can be found in police and military locations around the map, and is good from short to medium distances. Lastly, for the SMG category, we have the UMP-45. The UMP-45 can be found in police and military locations around the map. It does 20 damage to the gut, 24 to the torso, 18 to the arms, 16 to the legs, and 60 to the head. It's good from short to medium distances, has an RPM of 700 and a muzzle velocity of 1400. Next up, we have the AR-15. The AR-15 can be found in military and police locations around the map. It does a gut damage of 22, 26 to the torso, 19 to the arms, 17 to the legs, and 44 to the head. The AR-15 is good from medium to long distances. It has an RPM of 600, is semi-automatic. It has a muzzle velocity of 2,250 studs per second and is chambered in 223. The M249 can be found in military loot locations around the map. It has a gut damage of 24, it's 28 to the torso, 21 to the arms, 19 to the legs, and 48 to the head. The M249 is good from short to medium distances. Shoots at an RPM of 800, and it has a velocity of 1500. The SCAR can be found in military locations around the map. Does 24 damage to the gut, 28 damage to the torso, 21 to the arms, 19 to the legs, and 42 to the head. The SCAR is chambered in 308 Winchester. It's good from medium to long distances, has an RPM of 650, and it has a muzzle velocity of 2,250. The FAL can also be found in military loot locations around the map. It is chambered in 308 Winchester, does the same damage as the SCAR, is also good from medium to long distances, and has an RPM of 650 and a muzzle velocity of 2,250. Lastly, for the assault rifles, we have the M4A1. The M4A1 does the same damage as the AR-15, with 22 to the gut, 26 to the torso, 19 to the arms, 17 to the legs, and 44 to the head. It is good from medium to long distances, has an RPM of 850, and a muzzle velocity of 2,250. The only difference between the AR-15 and the M4 is that the M4 is automatic and shoots 250 rounds per minute faster than the AR-15. Now finally onto the Remington 700. The Remington 700 is chambered in 308 Winchester. It can be found in civilian loot locations around the map. It does 65 damage to the gut, 78 to the torso, 58 to the arms, 52 to the legs, 178 to the head. The Remington 700 is good from long distances to very long distances, shoots 30 bullets per minute, and has a muzzle velocity of 2,600. The M40A1 has the exact same statistics as the Remington 700. The only difference is that it can be found in military and police locations around the map. Lastly, we have the MRAD, the rarest weapon in the game. The MRAD has a gut damage of 78, 93 to the torso, 70 to the arms, 62 to the legs, and 214 to the head. It can be found in military locations around the map. It is chambered in 50 caliber BMG, is good from long distances to very long distances, has an RPM of 30, and the highest muzzle velocity in the game at 3,400. The next closest weapon in terms of muzzle velocity is 800 studs per second away. Well, if you made it this far, thank you so much. This video has been really fun to make. It took a very long time, so if you could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, I will catch you all in the next one.